Hey there, I'm Frederick Van Johnson. In this video, I'm going to go over my top 10 frustrations with the new Apple TV. All right, guys, I just got this Apple TV yesterday and I spent a fair amount of time getting things set up. The biggest problem I hit was entering my username and password over and over and over again. That process definitely needs some user interface, user experience love from the folks over at Apple. In my opinion, instead of all that and having to input credentials for each service that I'm subscribed to, all the services that I was subscribed to on my previous Apple TV should be bound or my Apple ID so that when I set up a new device, it just works. One password to rule them all. People generally buy multiples of these things, at least two, one for the living room, one for the bedroom. Would it make sense that if I spent the time setting one up and getting all the apps in the right positions and all that, when I set up another one or when I went to set up another one, that it would say, hey, I noticed there's another one on the network that you just set up. Do you want me to replicate it? No, you got to do the same thing over and over again as if they don't even know each other exist. The second frustration is Bluetooth keyboard support. So if you're gonna force me to enter in meticulously my username and password over and over again, at least let me plug in a keyboard or let me connect a Bluetooth keyboard to the thing while I'm getting things set up so that I can not have to hunt and peck, over and over again. So Bluetooth seems like that would have been an easy win. All right, number 3 is limited Siri. So with that setup, again, you would think that with the power of Siri that we've all become accustomed to, that I'd be able to just click a button and maybe say my password or do things like that and have it input text into the field. No, you can't do that. Siri doesn't work in password fields or for any type of text entry as far as I can see. That's where we are right now. Siri's a little bit hobbled on the new Apple TV. And number 4 is another thing about Siri. Siri doesn't talk. We all love Siri's voice. Siri sounds awesome, but on Apple TV, she's mute. She doesn't say anything. She speaks in text, sign language. She just doesn't speak at all. And I'm like, why? Okay, granted, I could see the folks at Apple maybe saying, okay, this is a device you're going to be listening to music and movies and all that stuff on. You don't want Siri interrupting that experience. However, I'm not always listening to audio. When I'm doing a search like I do on my phone, if I'm just asking for something, I would like an audio response. In other words, if there's sound playing, show text. If there's no sound playing, speak it. And then back to Siri again for number 5, universal search. Why can't I search across everything that's on Apple TV when I search? Right now, I can only search movies. It's only looking at movies and the entertainment things in there. And it does an amazingly well job or a good job at doing that. But I want to search the entire thing, kind of like what Xbox One does. When you search on Xbox One, it uses Bing and it searches everything in there. It gives you all kinds of results in there for you to choose from. Why can't Siri do that? I want to search my apps. I want to search for movies, all that stuff. Can't do it. All right, my next frustration is with the remote. Now, I love the remote, really well made. They did a good job on it. However, it's missing one fundamental thing, and that is light up keys. So first of all, they decided to make this thing black in a darkened, dim room. So it makes it hard to find. And my furniture is dark colored too, so it blends right into my furniture. So it makes it hard to find for one. So it seems like an easy fix would have been what they're doing right now on all the MacBook Pros. When you hit a key or when you turn it on or wake it up, the keys light up. Why not make these keys light up? I have a Microsoft remote for Xbox One. So when you touch it, it has a little mercury sensor in there. It knows that someone's touching it, which means you probably want to see the keys. It lights up. With this thing, it has a full-fledged accelerometer in there. It knows what's going on when you touch the thing. Why not make it light up? Doesn't use that much power to light up some keys. And speaking of remotes or lack thereof, my next frustration is with the remote app. So I've become accustomed to using the remote app on my iPhone to control the Apple TV. It makes it easier to get around, and you go into a text field, it brings up a keyboard, you can type things in. Beautiful, perfectly designed application until now. So that app no longer works with the new Apple TV. So now we're back to using the remote for hunt and peck again. Seems like that would have been a launch blocker if I was the folks inside of Apple, considering how many people I know personally that use the remote app, and now it's just gone. Just doesn't work with this new piece of next generation hardware. Seems like an oversight. All right, this next thing is near and dear to my heart. I'm a podcaster personally. I'm the host of This Week in Photo at thisweekinphoto.com. when I set this thing up, one of the first things I went to do was install the podcast app so I could subscribe to my own show and all the other podcasts that I listen to. But guess what? There's no podcast app available currently for the new Apple TV. There aren't any even third-party apps available for you to download. That was the first thing I thought was, okay, Apple's conceding the living room to third-party developers to give them some love. Let me go find Overcast or Downcast or one of those guys, and I'll install that on my Apple TV. No dice. No podcast love currently for the Apple TV. And speaking of apps, another frustration. Okay, as I'm searching the non-existent podcast app and for other things to install, it's a new toy. I want to play with things on there. I'm searching. The experience that I've become accustomed to on other iOS devices is, hey, look at that. Now they've added video previews. Let me watch a quick video of this thing, look at the graphics, and none on the Apple TV. There, as far as I can see so far, there are no video previews on any of the apps. So you go in there, you're back to 2013, 2014, before we had video previews. Google has had them for years, right? So no previews in there. So you're forced to make your purchasing decision based on thumbnails that they provide with the apps and the description. There's a star rating, but there are no user ratings in there either, because why? There's no way to input them, I would assume, because there's no keyboard support. So that's a frustration. And, it makes me hesitant to spend money on apps if I can't understand fully what those apps are all about. Just a couple of stars and a description that some marketing guy wrote aren't really encouraging for me to go purchase that app. I at least want to see some user reviews. If I can't get user reviews, show me the video. Ideally, both. But right now, we have none. Okay, and my last and final frustration with the new Apple TV is with Apple Music, specifically with Siri integration or lack thereof. Best speakers in the house, biggest screen in the house, and I've got Siri on a high-tech remote, and I can't press the button and say, play some John Legend. Doesn't do it. It doesn't know what I'm talking about. Or it brings up videos that feature John Legend instead of music from their vast music library, even though it's connected to Apple Music. Or play some jazz music. Play some hip hop, play some whatever. Can't do that. I can do that with my Amazon Echo. I could do that with Xbox One, not with my new next generation Apple TV. I can't do that. So that's really, really frustrating. Again, most of the frustrations that I voiced in this video are about software. So hopefully Apple will update the device and add these kind of no-brainer features in. But right now it is, let's just say it's not horrible, but it is not all that it could be currently. It could be a much better, much more user-friendly device, both from setup through usage, through Siri, all that stuff could be much better. I like the Apple TV. I love the interface. I applaud the direction of having an app store and being able to install apps in my living room and breaking away from that the game kind of metaphor and into the regular consumer metaphor for installation of apps in the living room. That makes a whole lot of sense to me, and I love it. And I don't see me going back to the old Apple TV anytime soon unless something catastrophic happens. But as it stands right now, I'm still frustrated, and I feel like I'm a beta tester for a product that I paid full price for. Anyway, that's it for this rant. My name is Frederick Van Johnson. We'll see you in the next video.